Alright guys, this is your first one about solving one-step equations here. Solving one-step equations are pretty simple to do. This pretty much involves just one step to solve the missing variable in this case. So what I'm trying to find is what is my missing variable? It just takes one step to find what the missing variable is. And the way I think about it is I think about it as a scale. If I have a scale or some sort here, here's my scale here. I want to make sure that my scales are balanced and the equal sign goes here, that they're balanced on both sides. So when I start this off, I have to be able to know how can I change my balance on one side and the other side to keep them balanced on both sides. I don't want my scale to be looking like this. If I have a scale that looks like this, I know that's not balanced because I have one side that's heavier than the other. So that's why I've got to be able to do one side on the equal side and do the same thing on the other side. But how do you do that? Well, what we do is we have to be able to look at the problem first and figure out what is the operation it's given to you, and then how do we go about doing the opposite of that. So let me show you what we're doing here. So if we look at these things, the opposites of addition is subtraction. So to do a balanced scale, if I have an addition problem, I'm going to subtract on both sides. If I have subtraction, I'm going to do an addition on both sides. If I have let me move this out of the way. If I have a multiplication, I'm going to do a division on both sides. And we won't see a times sign anytime soon. What you'll see is you'll see a number next to a letter, such as this. It can be a negative number next to a letter. These mean multiplication. There will not be a multiplication sign as far as that goes. We have an example of that one. A division problem. Division problem, well, what do I do the opposite there? I'm going to multiply. And that is times. So if I have a division problem is written as a fraction. So if you see a fraction, you know that it's going to be dividing. Most likely it's going to look like one of these, like a variable on top, and you'll have a number on the bottom. That's what a division looks like. Okay? So now that we're armed with what the inverses are, addition to subtraction, subtraction to addition, multiplication to division, and division to multiplying, we can go about our business and solve these problems. So if I take a look at my first example, what I need to do is I need to be able to identify the parts that are in my equation here. So I have an x. Taking away a 6 is going to give me a negative 2. Well, to be able to solve that, I got to make sure that my balance is safe. So what I mean by that is I'm going to draw my line straight down. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to label these. What it equals is the finish. The variable is always going to be called the change, and that's what I'm solving for. The number is what we call the start. So I have my change is the variable, the start value is the number, and the finish is what it equals right now. So I have that set up right now, and I need to solve my equation. So what I need to do now is I need to move my start value to my finish. And to do that, to keep it balanced, I have to do the opposite, because I'm going to move the 6 over here. And when I move the 6 away from the x, I need to get rid of that. And to be able to get rid of that, so I can only have x by itself, is I'm going to add 6 on both sides. So that keeps my equation balanced on both ends, because now I've taken this away and I've put it over here on this side. And when I do that, I'm going to end up giving x is equal to 4. So to check my answer, I'm going to put the 4 back in for the x value. So I'm going to check it by doing 4, take away 6. And let's see what that gives me. If I put that in my calculator, 4 minus 6 That gives me a -2, which is the same as the -2 that I have there. So I'm good to go. If I look at my next example, example number 2, it's the same way. I need to draw my balance line, and I need to label my things. This is what it equals. It equals 12. So that becomes my finish. The 15 is my start value. And the X is my change. So now all I need to do is I just need to move my start value to my finish. If I can move my start value to my finish, I have my equation solved. And so how do I move that to get it balanced out? Well, it's a plus 15 right now, so to do the opposite of plus 15 is I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides. And when I subtract 15 on both sides, these go away. I'm left with just my variable x. That's what I wanted to solve for. And now I do 12 take away 15. Well, I put that in my calculator, I get -3. And that would be my solution. This x value is now equal to -3. Well, let's check it just to make sure. So if I put the -3 back in, I'm going to have 15 plus my answer, which is -3, and it should equal 12. If I put that into my calculator, 15 plus a -3, I get the answer to be 12. So 12 is equal to 12, and I'm good to go. All right. Let's look at example number 3. Example number 3 says 3n. What does 3n mean? Well, 3n means 3 times n. So this is actually multiplication. So I need to see what I'm doing here. So it's multiplication. So this is saying 3 times something gives me 27. So I draw my balance bar, and let's label where my finish is. Well, the finish is 27. That's what it equals. The change is my letter N, and my start is the number 3. So now all I need to do is I just need to move my start value, which is the 3, over to the finish. To keep it balanced, though, this is multiplication. So I look up here, okay, multiplication tells me I need to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that goes away. So I'm just left with a single n. And 27 divided by 3, put that in my handy-dandy calculator, I get 9. 9 is my solution. And I'm good to go there. But let's check it just to make sure. So I'm going to check. I have 3 times, what does my n equal? 9. Just using the equation that's given to me. Should equal 27. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 equals 27. I'm good to go. All right. One more example here for you to do. I have example number 4. This one here is a division because I have a fraction. Oh, I got a fraction there. Fraction means to divide. So I have -6 is equal to b divided by 18. Divided by b, the letter b divided by 18. So I gotta draw my balance bar and let's label what we know. It equals -6, so that's my finish. My change is the letter B. That's my change. That's what's changing it. It's my variable. My start, what I'm going to move, is the 18. So how do I keep my equation balanced? Well, since it's division, I have to multiply on both sides. I look right up here and go, ooh, I got division. What am I doing? I'm multiplying on both sides. So I'm going to multiply by 18 on both sides. So I'm going to multiply 18 here, and I'm going to multiply 18 on this side. Draw my line underneath it. When I do that, the 18s are gone now. I'm left with just one b. And then I can just do my math there. 18 times negative 6. I get negative 108. So let's check it. So I use my original problem. Here's my original problem. And I'm going to put the 108 back in here. So I now have negative 6 is equal to negative 108 divided by 18. Check this part here. It should equal negative 6. Let's see if I put it in there. So I got negative 108 on the top. Remember, fractions mean to divide. I get negative 6. So negative 6 is equal to negative 6. And I'm good to go there. So I've given you 4 examples here that you can use for your paper and also your addition and other skills that you have. We are going to leave these for later. So what I would like for you to do with these is using your piece of paper. You will need to go to your iExcel. We're going to practice. It's W6. We're going to an 80%. So what you will do there is you will get your iExcel open on W6. Let me get mine to W6 here. You can see it. If it'll pull up here for me. It's going very slow. There it is. I'm going to take my first problem that they give to me, such in this one is going to be n divided by 3 equals 2. I'll write it down on my paper. So it will look like this on your paper that you're going to be using your notes with you. So I got a fraction. Oh, which one does that one look like? It looks like example number 4. So that's a fraction. That means I'm going to divide. So I'm going to draw my line through here, label that. My finish, so that's what it equals. My change, my start, and it tells me, well, division, the opposite is multiply. This is the type of work you need to show. Goes away, n is equal to 6. Then check it. 6 divided by 3 should equal 2, and it's good, and I'm good to go. Put it into my next one, and I'm ready to go. Showing your work and practicing these will get you the steps that you need. Make sure you label your finish for what it equals. The start is just the number. The change is always the variable. Best of luck.